The Forgotten Mermaid. All Lost Hearts May Be Redeemed by Gregga J. Johnn. 14. Captain Bryce DeLuce had hunted the Great Matilda for a decade now, and he wasn't about to simply pick up 3 shipwrecked sailors and take them home to safety. For truly, after so many years living among the uplanders, he had come to care little for their well-being, so primitive were their ways. If it were not for the softness of his heart toward the valiant and loyal missionary's wife, then he might have used them all as bait. But then, Bailey had discovered that her captain was not as she. Bryce didn't know just how much the curious woman had read up on his histories, and even though he knew that news reports were extemporaneous with truth, she might still believe their lies. He must find a way to talk to her alone. This was more of a problem now, since she'd healed her husband, who stayed by her side diligently. Bryce knew that wouldn't last long, though, so he waited. Bailey waited also. She waited until her husband went to prayer. He had taken to descending into the ship's belly in the lowest of holds so as to be alone in his prayers. That night after dinner, when he went into his prayer closet, as he called it, Bailey confronted the captain. "Why have you kept my husband so ill all these weeks?" "I would have him live," the captain responded without even looking up from his desk, when she quietly stole into his cabin. "You would have him live so you keep him ill? That makes no sense." Bailey stayed back by the door. She still did not fully understand or trust that desk. "When your Bakht, or human, bodies recover from illness of their own strength, then that strength and health is made even stronger." Bryce continued reading. Bailey had a quick-thinking mind and was already looking for oddities in the conversation, so she jumped on his particular word usage. "Your human bodies? Is your body not human, or Bakht, did you say? What is Bakht?" "Bakht is the term we use to describe those who live in the uplands that are not in unity or at one with the power of the universe about us," he explained, still reading. "And what are you?" Bailey held her breath, terrified of what he might answer. "Travell," was the singular reply. "Travell? What is that? Is that some like a merfolk soldier or something? Are you here to capture one of your own kind that has gone rogue? Is that all this has been about?" Bryce laughed out loud and stared admiringly at the intelligent young woman. "Come," he gestured to the couch. "Sit with me and tell me how you have such brave spirits within you." "I'm not brave." Bailey was dead honest, for her heart was trembling greatly in the godlike man's presence. "But you do not blink when I tell you that I am not of your human race, and you return to speak with me after reading who knows how much about me from my very own desktop." Bailey continued still and guilty by the door. Bryce reached into the hidden cabinet and pulled out the bottle of Dragon Tears mineral water. "Drink with me," he said. Bailey shrank up against the door. "You've seen what my potions did to help your husband?" He looked at her somewhat ominously. "For now, at least." He poured out 2 small glasses. "I don't offer anything that will harm you." The young woman gained courage from knowing how well she had lived on the captain's ship thus far. She slowly stepped toward him and took the outstretched drink offering from his hand. He raised his glass to her, and then took a tiny sip. She sniffed it. The liquid was clear and bubbly and had a faint sweet odor to it. Lifting the glass to her lips, she sipped a tiny drop. "Oh!" she involuntarily moaned in relaxation. Bryce smiled and sipped his own drink again. "Ah, indeed," he said. "The sweetest, most refreshing mineral water in the uplands, or underlands for that matter, but that is mere opinion." "The underlands?" inquired Bailey. "Are you a demon of hell?" "Not that far under." Bryce winked playfully at her, and continued to relax in his she continued to relax in his easy presence. "The underlands are where we Travell have banished ourselves, to save you human uplanders from having to consider us your gods." Bailey looked confused, but there was an urgent knock at the door. "Enter," ordered the captain. Mama D opened the door with wide-eyed worry. "It's Barnabas, sir. I found him passed out in the hole. He's bleeding, sir." Bailey was horrified. "Bleeding? Where is he bleeding?" she said, rushing toward the door. Mama D stepped aside to let her through and followed. "He's bleeding from everywhere, dearie." Bryce followed behind with a heavy sigh of resignation.